You apply for a mortgage, your lender pulls your credit, and suddenly your phone starts ringing nonstop with companies you've never heard of trying to get you to switch. And that's not a coincidence. But after years of complaints, it's finally starting to change. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mortgage Matters. I'm Neil Tipton with Waterstone Mortgage. Today I want to talk about something that frustrates both buyers and loan officers: trigger leads. If you've ever applied for a mortgage and suddenly received a flood of calls from other lenders, you've experienced this firsthand. In many cases, it starts within minutes of your credit being pulled. Here's what's been happening behind the scenes. When a lender pulls your credit for a mortgage, that activity gets recorded by the credit bureaus. The bureaus then package that information and sell it to other lenders who subscribe to what we call trigger leads. Those lenders then start calling and texting relentlessly because they know you're actively shopping for a mortgage. And yes, up till now, it's been perfectly legal. For years, credit bureaus have been selling that information after a lender has already started working with you. A lot of consumers have wrongly assumed their information was leaked, but it wasn't leaked, it was sold by the credit bureaus. After years of pressure from the mortgage industry and consumer advocates, new legislation aimed at limiting this practice is finally taking effect. And the goal is to dramatically reduce these unsolicited calls and texts by restricting when and how trigger lead data can be sold and used. In other words, the days of your phone exploding right after a credit pull should start becoming a lot less common. And that's good news for buyers who just want to work with the lender they chose without being bombarded. Now, even with these changes, there are still a few things you can do to limit the calls and texts even further. First, register your number on the National Do Not Call Registry. A lot of legitimate companies will respect it. Second, ask your lender about soft credit pulls or other pre-qualification options when you're first exploring financing. That can sometimes help reduce exposure. Third, be cautious about responding to unsolicited mortgage offers that show up immediately after you apply. Some of those calls are designed to create urgency that isn't necessarily in your best interest. And finally, work with a lender you trust, who's willing to walk you through the process before your credit's even been pulled, so you know what to expect. At the end of the day, applying for a mortgage shouldn't turn your phone into a telemarketing hotline. Now, this change won't eliminate trigger leads overnight, but it's a huge step in the right direction for protecting consumers and cleaning up some of the more aggressive practices in the industry. If you've ever experienced the trigger lead flood after applying for a mortgage, I'd love to hear about it. And if you want to understand the process before your credit's pulled, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching Mortgage Matters, and I'll see you next time.